What is he turning off, you ask yourself? Hopefully not his contagious smile. Don't worry, that's going to be sticking around. What won't be sticking around, what I'm turning off, is pretty much every way of donating money to me. I'm disabling YouTube channel memberships and super chats. I tried to find a way to do this for Twitch since I multi-stream. I didn't want Twitch to have a way of doing this either, but Twitch is a little special. Once they get you in those nipple clamps, you are not getting out. Once you opt into like the partner program or whatever, you can't turn off bits or subs. The only way out is in a fucking coffin. But I do think I found a solution for bits where I set the minimum so incredibly high that I imagine nobody's going to spend that kind of money, I would hope. But for subs, I can't get rid of that. If I could, I would say toodaloo, give it a strong slap on the ass, tell it good game and goodbye. But from what I can tell, there's a lot of hoops to jump through in order to accomplish that, so I'm just urging you, don't sub or anything like that on Twitch. And the reason why I'm disabling all of these things and discouraging these things is because I just don't want people to donate money to me anymore. I don't want that. I'm putting the kibosh on it. I felt uneasy about it for a while, but I convinced myself that I could deliver something that made it valuable for people that were donating. So like YouTube channel memberships. I had all these big ideas for content I'd do at the farm for members, but what I didn't account for is just how much we do at the farm and how time consuming that is, so I haven't been able to film any of that. So you are basically paying money for nothing. And it's not just YouTube memberships that were getting a bad deal, Twitch subs too. All you get there is some emotes. Whoopee! Yeah, amazing, yeah. Some emotes that I haven't updated in like 4 years that are probably still locked at like negative 240p on some of the older ones. Like, it is literally just money for nothing. And it's just been really bothering me lately. I would much rather you hold on to your money. Now more than ever with how everything's been going. I think it is crucial you get your finances in a fucking full Nelson and you just don't let those puppies fly willy-nilly donating clams to a goofball like me. If you're someone who just has all this money and it's burning a hole in your pocket, you have to donate it. You know, you have this insatiable appetite to just part ways with this money. Donate it to a charitable cause instead. There are so many good charities doing extremely good work that could be benefited greatly from your contribution. Like maybe you'd want to donate to a charity that's doing extremely important work in Gaza. Like that would be a significantly better use of that money than donating it to me. Like I would much rather it go to other organizations or other people in need instead of finding its way to me for literally nothing. Like, there are just so many better options for your money than giving it to me. I really, it's time I pull the plug on the ability to even do that. I have openly discouraged it for a long time, saying that what I do is free. You don't need to donate or anything like that. But people do still engage with it. And I want to just take that off of the table now. I feel like this is long overdue. It's something I should have done a while ago, but I had convinced myself I could deliver something of value to people that were paying, and I don't think there's any value in giving money during a stream to get my attention so that way I talk about it for a second. That's just not a good use of your money. I also don't think I was giving anything of value to, like, members with, members content or anything. Plus, I never wanted to give the perception that I was paywalling content in the first place. The idea was always like, little bonuses and stuff or unedited videos for a time. But then, with the way YouTube works, that was getting recommended as though they were like real videos that were being paywalled from just normal subscribers unless you forked over some doubloons. Actually, Linus Tech Tips just made a video kind of talking about that yesterday. Anyway, I won't yap your ear off too much longer on this, but I want to conclude here with a call to inaction, I suppose. Since I couldn't turn off Twitch subs, I just want to strongly urge you, do not waste your money subbing to me on Twitch. This isn't reverse psychology. I'm not trying to get into your noodle and rearrange neurons in a confusing, complex gambit here. I am just asking you honestly not to. As I've said from the beginning, all of this that I do here is meant to be consumed for free. So please just consume it for free. Please. And again, if you do want to donate money, please do it to a charitable cause instead of me. Anyway, that's really about it. So yeah. This is a topic I touch on at least once every 8 or 9 months, roughly, like clockwork, because YouTube is engaged in this bloody struggle against ad blockers. They are very much trying to dissuade people from using them, And in doing so, they've come up with all kinds of nefarious schemes to try and get you to buy YouTube Premium or just disable the ad blocker entirely. So that way you can get served ads, or you're at least paying to not get served ads. They've recently been cooking up all kinds of wacky new ideas here. The most alarming that everyone is pointing out is that they are tinkering with the notion of adding more unskippable ads to the platform. These ads would also appear more often. The boogeyman would be making more frequent stops here with these 30-second unskippable ads. Now, according to Swipe Insight, the ads would be between 16 to 30 seconds exclusively on TV screens, including Smart TV and Chromecast, and also the 30-second unskippable ads would be rolled out alongside the 6-second bumper ads and 15-second unskippable. The test has already gone well, apparently. Anthony Higman, CEO of AdSquire, claims users will probably watch 30-second ads. I don't know what fantasy land he's living in that's delusional. No one wants to watch 30-second ads, but yes, there are definitely people that do stomach them. But I would argue the vast majority that sit through a 30-second ads are the ones that aren't actually watching the video, like not paying attention to it. No one lucid is sitting there choosing to watch 30 seconds of that ad. They're likely having something on in the background, or it's on the TV and they're not like by the remote, so they don't have a chance to skip it. But it's not something people are like excited about. It's just going the way of cable again, which nobody wants. But unfortunately, that's the way things are going. The 15-second non-skippable YouTube ad format is my all-time favorite, he said. God, that's like ruining Christmas is my all-time favorite, said the Grinch. It's fucking craziness. These can be targeted to keywords and audience, and the user must watch the ad to get to the content they want to watch. Like, he's even just celebrating that it's just really inconvenient and a headache to the users. They have to watch my shit in order to get to what they actually want to see. What a fucking nuisance. The fixation on shoving ads down people's throats as often as possible it's completely out of control right now. And you know, remember just like a month ago, Netflix announced they're going to start doing AI-generated ads. So now they're going to have like random AI ads start popping up. I think that rolls out in 2026 at some point. And it seems like it's not a matter of if, but when YouTube rolls out more ads and more unskippable ads, which again, nobody wants. Nobody likes ads. Unless, of course, they're cheeky ads. Go to usecheeky.com right now and get the best soap in the universe that we made. See, that's an effective ad. 5 seconds. That's it. That should be the standard for fucking video ads. And I've had no problems with just skipping after 5 seconds. That's fine. I hate the way Twitch does ads. Like, I've sometimes the full 3-minute ad break hitting you all at once like a knuckle sandwich to the nose. But that is the way of advertising right now for a lot of these businesses. And it must be working, otherwise they wouldn't keep doing this and shoving it down people's throats. It seems like no matter how much they inconvenience users, they're not actually taking any hits. It must be profitable, and it sucks. It just keeps getting worse. And YouTube's been doing some embarrassing, scummy tactics to try and get users to turn off their ad block, or try and push them to forking over those clams for YouTube Premium or YouTube Premium Lite, which also has ads on Premium Lite, which is apparently expanding their ads as well, according to new information on that program. But that's a different topic entirely. YouTube's tried things like trying to shame you into it, wiggling its finger saying, no, 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 this is naughty behavior. And they'd flash up a thing like when you tried to watch a video with an ad block on saying, YouTube doesn't support ad blocks. This is against the Geneva Convention. It's illegal. You're going to prison and hell. In fact, super hell. Not even Dante found this level of hell. The ad block section. The worst one for the worst fucking fiends like you guys. But, of course, that didn't work. Most people still weren't going to turn it off. So YouTube's doing something a little different right now to combat these ne'er-do-wells still using their U-block and all of that. And some of you may be experiencing it right now. It's when you click a video, it won't load for a little while. Sometimes it'll also just crash when watching. The one I've been getting is the experiencing interruptions. Let me show you what it looks like. This is me on just the normal ad block a lot of people use. As you can see, they've already found a way to breach this with ads. Luckily, these aren't intrusive, but the call's already coming from inside the house. So I want to do a little checkup on my boy Don Gorski here, the guy who eats like 2 Big Macs a day for the last 50 years. He's already made it 34,000 Big Macs. I want to check out this video. And look at what you get. Absolute dog shit. It's by design. The enshittification is on purpose. As you saw, the experiencing interruptions, find out why. Let's go ahead and click that so you can see exactly how the sausage is made. It's about the ad blocks. When you go through here and you start looking, they're making it worse, the performance of the platform worse on purpose for those that use an ad blocker. It's a damn shame. I also can't help but get a little silly grin on my face reading this. Check your extensions, including ad blockers. That might be the problem. Check whether your browser extension that blocks ads are affecting video playback. As another option, try opening YouTube in an incognito window with all extensions disabled and check if the issue continues. It might be those pesky ad blockers. They are known to completely tank video performance randomly on YouTube. It's so odd. I really think you guys should stop using them. That is, if you want to watch videos seamlessly and smoothly. It's very likely your ad blocker. They're pretending like they don't know. They're doing it on purpose. They've done this before, too. We've had like a very similar song and dance with YouTube in the past when it came to the ad blocks. The point is, they don't like you using it. They would rather you navigate their website with the condom off. And I made a whole video going over using the internet without an ad block. It's foul, to say the least. The main bulk of the internet treats ads like Bonnie Blue treats penis. Like, there is just all over the place, everywhere, and it doesn't stop. Look at how unusable this website is. Like, I understand it's Daily Mail. Like, this is about as low as it gets. But this is just the epitome of modern internet usage without an ad block. This exact format is repeated on so many other sites. And in some other sites, you'll even have like the banner ad up here and you don't even get to see the article. But just look at this. Auto-playing ads out the wazoo. Some of them just repeated. It's craziness. You cannot use the internet without an ad block. I personally think it should be illegal to have a website set up the way Daily Mail does and so many others like it. And it should also be a big no-no, like frowned upon, if not illegal, to try and convince people to turn their ad block off by giving them a worse experience on purpose, like punishing them for using it. It is a necessity to have an ad block. It is like a basic human right when it comes to the digital age to have an ad block installed on your system. Another very crazy thing about all of this, at least to me personally, I find it fascinating, is YouTube is so focused on ads and like trying to bring down ad block. That's the villain in their anime. Yet they let any ad fly on this platform. I just made a video about those AI robot dog ads that keep getting served to people on YouTube and how they're an actual scam. When you try and place an order, what you get is nothing like what's advertised, and it's not even a real product or ad in the first place. Those kind of AI ads that aren't actually even real, they're just full-blown scams, they're running rampant right now. Also, there's just blatant porn sometimes that comes through on YouTube, like full-blown. There's also sometimes those like 2-hour ads, which is like someone just doing like a Minecraft Let's Play. Like, there is no vetting process at all, it seems, for ads in the first place. So sometimes, if you're not using an ad block and you don't have YouTube Premium, YouTube might just get you scammed. YouTube might just get you actually out of money on your end through fraudulent business practices that are being served to you. It's like, it's not even safe to use YouTube without an ad blocker. Yet, they're trying to get you to do that by making the platform run worse. It's so low. I really cannot stand it. But anyway, I'll stop yapping about it. This is just a topic that rears its ugly head pretty often because YouTube is so fixated on it. And you hate to see it. That's really about it. So yeah. There is definitely a ghost in the machine when it comes to the YouTube algorithm. Sometimes it just goes insano style, where it'll just hold you hostage, feeding you the same video in your recommended section endlessly until you finally just throw in the towel after they've chipped away at you enough to just watch it just to get rid of the recommended. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with the content you've watched before. So like in many cases for me, YouTube will just decide, Charles, you need to watch this video. So it plasters it front and center on the homepage, and anytime I watch a video, it's right there in the recommended, just constantly being shoved down my fucking throat. And no matter how many times I leave the platform and come back over the course of a day, a week, doesn't matter, it's still there. It's like the bye-bye, man. Don't think it, don't say it, but it's always there. You can't escape it. YouTube like traps you in a genjutsu where all you see is this one video they really think that you have to see. And I know that this is not groundbreaking new information. YouTube's algorithm is all about trying to soul read you and keeping you hooked on the platform like it's fucking heroin here, so that way it's feeding you things that you always want to see. But in many cases, for me personally, a lot of what they are trying to serve me on the plate, like give me the spoonful telling me the airplane's coming in, is shit that I don't consume in the first place. And I don't know if something's changed internally at YouTube or if this is a common thing everyone else is experiencing as well, but I've been getting significantly more notifications to my phone telling me that channels I'm not subscribed to are uploading content that I'd never even watch in the first place. Like, it's types of content that I'm not an avid viewer of. So I've been getting notifications like YouTube grabbing me by the shoulders, shaking me like, Charlie, you've got to see this. Did you know Wiley Shitterman just uploaded a new disposable camera review? And maybe it knows me better than I think it does. I guess credit where credit is due, because it does actually get me to click it sometimes. And I'll click it, and some of them have less than like 300 fucking views. It's like, how did YouTube even find this to try and give me a notification for it? But today, they gave me one that was so incomprehensible, it's made me want to talk about this whole subject and the video itself. It's this right here. For the last 6 or 7 hours, YouTube has decided that this is what I have to see. It is a video that's not even in English, and it's a guy eating food that's a little too crispy. Now, it is auto-dubbed, so I can at least kind of follow the plot here, like I'm not lost on the lore. It is so fascinating.
Good morning, everyone. This is the legendary Haneda Airport. It's already a legend. That's the theory. Look. See, it's a legend. So, this is also something I received today.
Now, I have to question the accuracy of the dubbing here, because there are some times that it is a real head-scratcher with the things that are being said, and I don't know if it's actually true to what the content creator here is trying to express. But this guy is really good. I ended up really liking this video. He's got his hair set up kind of like Mads Mikkelsen from Death Stranding. And it's just classic YouTube, like OG YouTube. He's going to eat an old-fashioned donut that unfortunately is a bit too crispy for his palate. And that's about as deep as it goes. It's quite an adventure. It's not, I haven't watched a donut review on YouTube or anything like that in recent memory. I don't know why YouTube is showing me this so adamantly. It is very insistent on me watching this video, but I was captivated. Now, I'm assuming that the auto-dubbing is some kind of AI system that took the original video, which I imagine he was doing a voiceover for, and translates it to English automatically and has the text-to-speech guy here say it. I think this is all an automated system. I don't know if the YouTuber here set it up on his end or what, but my guess is the original video here, he is doing a voiceover in his native language, and then AI comes and dubs it over for the sake of serving me this video, I guess.
The packaging is surprisingly hard, isn't it? Usually, it takes a long time to open something like this. I have a lot of time. I'm going to open something like this. So, I'll put it in. I've warmed it up. Oh, wait. Yes. Furry.
See what I mean with the dubbing feeling a bit odd? I don't think he was saying furry. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why would he be saying furry while busting out the moves like this? The guy is grooving here. He's hitting like a full-blown routine. I don't think he'd just be saying the word furry over and over again. I have to imagine he was singing something that the dubbing couldn't quite make sense of, and for some reason it defaulted to just saying furry over and over again. Or, I could be very wrong, and maybe this is like a viral dance, the furry dance, that I just don't know. It is entirely possible. I'm 30 years old. Maybe this one's just slid under my radar here. The only dances I know are fucking whipping nay-nay and crank that soldier boy.
Today's frilly down is a little too rushed. It's too rushed. It's trying too hard to get the results. It's already showing too much. It's already showing. I can't tell. It could be a little longer. But what are you talking about?
It is so fascinating because it feels like the auto-dubbing robot is having an argument with itself, like it's full-blown malfunctioning here and it's starting to question its own existence. I don't know. This shit might even pass the Turing test because it seems like it's gaining sentience.
Here we go. Let's eat. Like this, a couple. Oh. Oh. It tastes like something I've never had before. It tastes like something I've never had before. Yeah, what's in this? Oh, the spices are quite unique. Yeah. Oh, this is that. It's worth eating. Yeah.
The auto-dubbing sounds like when you just spam talk to the same NPC in an MMO and they just keep saying the same voice lines over and over again really quickly. Like, it's weird because I have to imagine in the actual video, this is not even close to what he's saying. I don't think he's just repeating himself over and over again like that, just saying, yeah, what's in this? That's in this. That is that. Yeah, worth eating. Like, it sounds like TikTok NPC streamers or something. I don't think that the auto-dubbing did a great job here, but it's got me really interested in the video. Like, this is clearly not the old-fashioned donut. This is something else, and apparently it's quite delightful. He seems to be enjoying it. The auto-dubbing robot almost sounds like it's enjoying it too. Like, the umami is so powerful that even the auto-dubbing text-to-speech bot is fucking feeling the flavors.
This is worth eating. This is, like, really spicy, but it's not like anything else. It's not like anything else. Yeah. It's a really pleasant spice. Especially the refreshing feeling you get after eating it. This. Oh, this is legendary. This is legendary. This is that. This is delicious. Well, saying it's delicious sounds a little cheap, but it's like something I've never had before because it's a spice that's new and innovative.
Holy shit, a new spice? It's like discovering a new element on the periodic table. That's like a big deal. We need to check into this dish that he's consuming here, because a new spice, that's a game changer across the board right there. I feel like every spice has been fully explored, and if there's a breakthrough on the horizon, it's time we do some investigation.
It's like a type of curry that's breaking new ground. And it's legendary. So after work, I came to Taba. This is an old-fashioned. I've always wanted to try this old-fashioned. This is a little bit off, but I have to go home early because I'm going to Sekigahara tomorrow. And by the way, I'm having Mitchell check something on YouTube right now, so I have to publish it.
So now we move from our first chapter, the introduction here after it's hooked us into the plot, we now move to the old-fashioned donut. And he made a mention that Mitchell was checking something on YouTube, so he needed to publish this. I wonder if that's foreshadowing. Is Mitchell higher up in the YouTube food chain or something? Because whatever Mitchell did on the back end sent this directly to me in my fucking phone with a notification on this bad boy. Like, Mitchell's doing a good job of putting the blast out, getting some peepers on the old-fashioned plus the curry review here. Very strong work from Mitchell.
Let's eat. Oh. It's crispy. It's crispy. It's super crispy. Oh, this old-fashioned from Tarva is super crispy. Oh, this is it. Maybe I should try it once.
Heartbreak, as he bit into the old-fashioned that was cooked to a crisp, unsatisfactory. The cup runneth over on crisp, so the old-fashioned wasn't the best, but we do get some more tiddlywinks of exposition here when it comes to Mitchell.
I finally got Mitchell's One Claw channel up and running. I spent almost all of yesterday editing videos. So it looks like I'm almost done checking Mitchell's stuff, but I've been doing nothing but that. I forgot to buy tickets for the Heroines League, and they sold out. This is bad. At times like this, I'll just say something like, oh, I remember there was such a thing. Please subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up. Yeah.
There's a lot to chew on there. There's a lot to digest with those signing off statements there. So, let's go ahead and break that down. He is talking about how he didn't get tickets to the Heroin League, which I'm not sure what that is. Maybe like a concert or something potentially, which he is not happy about. He said, oh, this is bad. But then he gave us some words of wisdom, something encouraging to lift our spirits, saying that in times like these, he tells himself, oh, that's that. Or, no, what? Now I'm sounding like the auto-dubbing robot. What did he say again? Hold on, I need to go back to the footage. Got it. He said, in times such as these, he says, oh, I remember there's such a thing. Which is that's pretty profound. Anyway, in the description, he made a mention of another channel called Wankora, which he says is his main channel. So checking out his main channel, you can see that he does have more videos like this, and it's a bit more popular, which is a cool thing to discover, but I don't know if it has anything to do with why YouTube was so vehemently pushing the old-fashioned crispy review. Maybe it did. I don't know. What I do know, though, is that it's very interesting the way YouTube will get hung up on like a couple of videos that it really, really thinks you need to see. So they will recommend it endlessly until you finally just submit and watch it. And for me, it was this video. I'm kind of happy I did, to be honest. This was an adventure, for sure. And it also showed me one other thing that I can say with 100% confidence. The auto-dubbing sucks. YouTube auto-dubbing is some dog shit. Like, there is no way the original video was this script. Like, there's no shot. That'd be absurd. So that whole program there needs a drastic overhaul. That shit is bad. That's about it, though. See ya. Title's not clickbait. The biggest YouTube scam has just been revealed by a channel called Megalag. I highly recommend checking out the full video. This is extraordinary work. It was a multi-year investigation that he conducted, and his findings could make even Enron's accountants start sweating. It is gross how bad this company he investigated is. And it's a company you've all heard of. It's a company I have used for a long time. Honey. You know that free browser extension that's supposed to be going and getting you coupons at checkout to save you money on purchases? The one that has that playful piece of shit mascot that's just a diet Microsoft Clippy whom now I can't stand to look at after learning about how atrocious this scam is? Yeah, that Honey. The one that's owned by PayPal that they purchased for fucking 4 billion clams. Turns out it's all a load of fish paste. Honey, more like phony, because it's all fraudulent. Now, of course, I can't say that from a legal perspective, but from a common sense perspective, after everything I've learned from the Megalag investigation, I think it's definitely fallen into the textbook definition of a scam. Though I imagine the lawyers aren't going to be too gung-ho about suing people that are labeling them a scam or calling them mean words, because they're probably too busy stretching out, cracking their knuckles, getting ready for the impending catastrophic class action lawsuit that's heading their way. And I mean that sincerely. I do think that this investigation from Megalag will lead to a huge class action lawsuit against Honey for all of the many millions of dollars that it has most likely cost a ton of people.
Honey hasn't just been scamming you, the consumer, they've also been stealing money from influencers, including the very ones they paid to promote their product. And I'm not just talking about a few bucks here. I believe this scam has likely cost content creators millions of dollars.
Honey's stretching everyone's holes here, both the consumer who downloads Honey as well as the creator that promoted the Honey. That does include me. I have worked with Honey in the past because I was an avid Honey user. It seemed like a pretty simple, effective product. It'd just find coupons at checkout to save a little money. I didn't think there was anything nefarious going on under the hood, but it turns out couldn't have been more wrong. Obviously, knowing what I know now about this company, I wish I never worked with them. I'm sorry for ever having promoted Honey. I clearly didn't know any of this was going on. Nobody did until Megalag's investigation. This was something that there wasn't even whispers of. He mentions in the video he had only found like one page where people even speculated on it with nothing concrete. So it wasn't until this multi-year investigation that any of this information came to light. It's a very sneaky, hidden mechanism that it uses to scam consumers and content creators. And what Megalag has put into the light here is extremely important. So he starts by demonstrating how it steals money from content creators, and it is probably the most creative way of fucking people I have seen since I first found browsers in high school.
Linus tells you about this free browser extension that saves you money online, you install it in 2 clicks, and boom, you have Honey. So you scroll down and find Linus's affiliate link to that product. Now, for those of you who don't know, when you click an affiliate link and buy something, the influencer who promoted the product earns a commission for referring you to that store. So you add the product to your cart, get to the checkout page, and hello, Honey says they found you 10 coupon codes. Sweet. You click apply discounts and Honey gets to work. But unfortunately, none of the coupon codes worked. Doesn't matter though, because as Honey has promised us for years, that means we know we've got the best deal. So you complete your purchase, you're happy, your new CPU's on the way, Linus is happy, he's getting his commission, everyone's happy, right?
Wrong. You'd be very wrong if you said everyone was happy there. This isn't a fucking fairy tale. This is big business, and everything's horrible. So, if you've never used Honey, that's how it works. When you're checking out, you'll have your little goofball pop up. He'll be like, oh geez, Rick, we gotta apply some coupons here to save you some blimflarkles. Click here to save some money, because we're gonna look for coupons. And so he's gonna go look for coupons at checkout to try and save you some money. Sometimes it'll find coupons, sometimes the mascot will wander in, soft cock in hand with nothing to offer you, saying, whoops-a-daisy, sorry, didn't find anything, is what it is. And that's the way she goes. Now, Megalag is talking about affiliate links. As he mentioned, if you use an affiliate link like in a description, and you purchase a product through that link, the creator that you click the link from will get some kind of commission off of that sale. Now, Honey does something very interesting with that whole process there.
After clicking Linus's affiliate link, you'll notice in the URL, there's a tracking tag labeled Short Circuit. That's a reference to one of Linus's YouTube channels. And this tracking tag is how Newegg knows who to pay a commission to. We can also see that this tracking tag has been saved on my browser in the form of a cookie that will expire in 30 days. That way, if we only decide to complete the purchase a few days later, Linus will still be credited the sale. So what happened when we got to the checkout page? Well, once Honey popped up, watch what happened to Linus's affiliate cookie after we clicked apply discounts. You see that? Honey came in, removed Linus's affiliate cookie, and replaced it with their own, claiming credit for the sale and pocketing the commission money for themselves. Yeah.
Never before has that sound effect, that like dramatic bass boom sound effect, been more appropriate. That is a huge deal. That is millions of dollars, no exaggeration, actually millions of dollars that PayPal Honey is making through stealing those commissions. By replacing the affiliate link with their own at the very end of checkout, without the consumer ever even knowing this happens, they're able to take the entire commission while the influencer or whoever that brought them there gets nothing. They get the whole pie, and the creator doesn't even get the fucking crust. It's so devious.
Now, if we quickly go back again, we can see what's causing this to happen. After clicking apply discounts, what you'll notice is that in the top left corner of your browser, Honey discreetly opens a small new tab, which acts like a simulated referral click, as if they were the ones to refer you to the website, even though you're already on the website and at the checkout page. Once that page is finished loading and has stuffed PayPal's affiliate cookie, the tab automatically closes, leaving you blissfully unaware that anything ever happened. It's very sneaky.
This isn't some kind of freak accident, it's not some kind of glitch or a ghost in the machine. Mr. Krabs isn't in the soul of Honey doing this without Honey themselves knowing about it. This is by design. They do this on purpose.
I'll reach out to Honey and ask them directly, and sure enough, they came back to me with the following. If Honey is activated and is the last program used while shopping on a site, it is likely Honey will receive credit for the purchase.
They are shockingly open about that. They almost seem jolly and proud. Well, hello there, salutations, tipping the fedora. Thanks for contacting us. Yeah, we're shitting on you. Big whoop, and you're welcome for it. Thanks so much. And he goes on to give like a real world example so that way it's a little easier to understand how unacceptable this is. He even goes on to say that he can't see how it's anything less than fraud, and I agree. This seems like fraud. Megalag gives a real-world example to demonstrate just how outrageous this whole thing is. He states, imagine that you're going to a department store buying a TV, there's a salesman, and he sells you on the perfect TV. You now have that salesman's card that you take to the front with your TV, so that way the salesman can get the commission. But right when you're paying for the TV, a sleazy greaseball comes out of nowhere saying, wait just a minute, champ, hold on, let me see if I have any coupons. I got nothing. Alright, good luck. But before he leaves, he switches out that salesman's card with his own card. So now the salesman that actually sold you the TV gets nothing, whereas that guy who came in at the very end gets everything. That is how this concept works in the real world. That would be completely unacceptable. PayPal Honey did none of the work to get the consumer there, to get the purchase or anything, yet it takes the entire piece of the pie and leaves not even the crust behind. And in the real world, this, again, would be the equivalent of someone coming in at the last second like a jump scare, like, woo, here's a coupon. I'm kidding, we don't have any coupons, but I'm still going to take the whole commission. So then using some sleight of hand that would fool even Penn and Teller, he swaps out that salesman's card with his own, and the consumer doesn't know it, and the salesman that got swapped doesn't know it either. That's what PayPal Honey does. But here's the thing, even if it did find a coupon for the consumer at checkout, it still shouldn't be overriding the affiliates. It still shouldn't be stuffing that out. They did none of the work to get the consumer to the site or anything at all. They did nothing for the sale. They just came in at the very end and found a coupon. That's still bad that it would overwrite that. But it actually even gets worse. It'll do this even when it has no coupons to even search for.
Honey pops up right at the end of your purchasing journey, virtually guaranteeing they'll win that last click. They of course know this and do anything they can to get that last click, even when there's no coupon codes to offer. Which brings us to scenario 2. Honey Gold, which is now called PayPal Rewards. Here's how it works. When you get to the checkout and Honey Gold is available, Honey pops up and is essentially saying, hey you, consumer, click this button here so PayPal can claim the commission for the sale, and we'll share a portion of that commission money with you in the form of points. It's basically a lame cashback scheme. And it's genius because if there are no coupons to offer, but the store is participating in Honey Gold, it gives Honey another reason to get that last click.
He explained what last click was, and it's basically the last thing that you click is what's going to get the credit for the commission. And Honey is constantly fighting to be that last click by any means necessary. Come hell or high water, they will leave mangled corpses in the fucking streets if it means they can consistently get that last click on checkout. So this is one of its other mechanisms to get that last click, where you can activate rewards at the very end.
I decided to put Honey Gold to the test. So I looked for any website where Honey Gold was offered and found it on NordVPN. And no, this is not a sneaky sponsorship. So I signed up for NordVPN's affiliate program, which offers 40% commission on successful referrals. After getting approved into the program, I received a custom affiliate link for my YouTube channel. Using this link, I made 2 separate purchases. For the first, I activated Honey Gold, and sure enough, you can see my affiliate cookie was replaced with Honey's. And for the second, I didn't activate Honey Gold. As expected, I was awarded a $35 commission for the sale where Honey Gold wasn't activated, and received nothing when Honey Gold was activated. So how much of my stolen $35 commission did PayPal share as cash back with my Honey account, aka the consumer? Brace yourselves, 89 points, which is equivalent to 89 cents.
I knew it was going to be bad, but somehow that is even worse than I expected it to be. It gets the entire kit and caboodle of the commission, all 35 doubloons. It gets the spaghetti and the meatballs, and it gives you not even a morsel, not even a tiddlywink of it. 89 cents of the $35? Holy shit. Again, this is for doing nothing, by the way. It is doing nothing. It is doing this just to desperately try and get that last click so it can take the whole commission. And again, this isn't put front facing. People didn't even know this was going on until this investigation. It is so sneaky with this shit. It exists solely to steal, poach those affiliates, to take that commission on the back end. That's nuts. That's why I'm saying this will likely be a huge class action lawsuit. There is no telling how many millions of dollars they've been able to make quietly like this. Megalag demonstrated one. They got $35 from that. That's a lot. Like, that is a big commission, really. Just think about that on a large scale. Megalag pulls up the numbers. Honey had been promoting on YouTube in particular to the tune of like 7.9 billion views worth of videos. They had like 5,000 or something like sponsored segments across so many different channels. 7.9 billion views. They have, what, 20 million users? Think about how much money they were pulling in from this scam. It's huge. Like, this is something that Bernie Madoff would roll over in his grave at with this fraud.
You click on their affiliate link and get to the checkout. But in this scenario, Honey knows it has nothing to offer. No coupon codes, no Honey Gold, yet it still pops up to announce absolutely nothing. Annoying as fuck. Naturally, you click the got it button to get rid of the annoying dancing coin, and whoa, what's that? PayPal takes the sale.
I couldn't help but just laugh at that one. That is cartoonishly evil. That is so scummy. So even if it has no coupons, it has no Honey Gold capabilities, it will still pop up on something totally unrelated through the affiliate link and just say like, hey, listen. We've got nothing to say. Sorry. Pranked you. We got nothing. Go ahead and close us. Just go ahead and say got it. Get rid of us. Sorry. Just wanted to let you know we're here. And when you do that, it takes the sale. It still takes the whole commission because you interacted with it. It was your last click. It's unbelievable.
Why? Because fuck you, Mary, that's your commission. But wait, there's more. My personal favorite is when Honey has nothing to offer, so pops up offering you to check out with PayPal, even though the option is already available at the checkout page. And of course, if you click the checkout button, PayPal poaches the sale. Classy.
There is just no world where that isn't illegal, right? Like, there can't be a world where that can fly. That has to be something that this company would be run into the ground for. Like, I'm no lawyer. I didn't pass the bar. Shit, barely passed the SATs. But I would still say, using my tiny little noodle up here, my smooth brain, that's a big no-no. I think they're probably going to face some big repercussions for that now that this is starting to blow up and come to light. Now, in the next section of the video, Megalag goes on to talk about how he was checking into the Linus forums to see if anyone was talking about Honey, and he did find someone that was sounding the alarm quite a few years ago, but it just didn't get a lot of traction. And then in 2022, someone noticed that Linus wasn't working with Honey anymore, so they asked about it, and Linus Media Group representative came out and said, yeah, they didn't like the way that it interacted with the affiliate links, so they stopped working with them. And Megalag says that he was pretty disappointed that they weren't more vocal about that, because if they could have sounded the alarm about this whole scheme, there could have been some more damages that were prevented over the next couple of years, but they just kept it kind of hush for some reason. And that is very disappointing from Linus and the team for not talking about this if they knew what was going on. And then Megalag goes on to talk about, well, they did actually take a different coupon sponsor that does the same thing called Karma.
Essentially, if someone clicked on an affiliate link and then they use Honey and search for a deal, Honey will override that tracking link even if they don't find you a deal. That didn't jive with us, so we ended the partnership. They should have made more noise about this. But what's truly baffling to me is that after LMG ended their partnership with Honey, they then went ahead and partnered with a company called Karma Now, a coupon browser extension that literally engages in similar behavior.
As Megalag said, it's very telling just how deceptive this Honey scam is when even a tech-focused company like LMG doesn't catch on to it for years. And it is baffling that even when they did catch on to it or were tipped off about it, they chose a different coupon sponsor that does like basically the same thing, it seems. That's so weird. That is so weird. Now, the next part of the video showcases how Honey scams you, the consumer. Now it's not only about the influencers getting all their affiliates commissions stolen. Now, Megalag shows you what Honey does to fuck you in the face.
When I reached the checkout page, Honey would claim it couldn't find me any coupon codes. Yet when I searched manually, I found working codes with these. And even when Honey did find me a code, I was often able to find another code of better value. Kind of strange, given their claim that,
well, thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is now a thing of the past.
Another oddity was that Honey would often only find me Honey branded coupon codes, such as Honey 5 or Honey 10. Why would a store only have Honey branded coupon codes? Kind of weird, right? But the biggest red flag was that when I tried submitting the better coupon codes I'd found, Honey wasn't adding them to their database.
Now, this was not a case of Honey just not doing its job well, where it was missing a couple of coupons here and there that were slipping through the cracks, but it was still trying its best and it was still doing an admirable, noble attempt at finding you those best deal coupons. It wasn't doing its job at all. When Megalag would submit coupons to it, it wouldn't even take it into the database, and it was far more effective to just manually enter coupons because Honey wasn't finding them, and it was finding a lot of Honey coupons pretty often. All very peculiar, I would say.
It turns out that one of the key benefits for stores partnering with Honey is that they are given full control over which coupon codes go live on the platform, if any at all.
What would you say to any brand that is considered working with Honey but hasn't yet?
I would say missing out on converting customers. Like I said before, Gen Z is super discount savvy. You can't ignore the fact that they will hunt for like discount codes and they might find a better deal. With Honey, you can also control the discount code percentage, which means like they will potentially find a higher discount code on the internet. It literally lets you control like the customer journey, convert and control like the discount code percentage as well.
This is a podcast that Megalag found that seems to be focused on trying to drive more brands to work with Honey. So this is a brand that has worked with Honey talking about the benefits. One of them that she's very excited about is that with Honey, it helps discourage consumers from seeking out coupon codes, and with Honey, you can control which coupon codes are even getting shared in the first place. So let's say there's a 20% off coupon that does exist for this brand, but the brand doesn't really want it shared with everyone using Honey. Well, then it just doesn't. Honey won't share it if the brand doesn't want it to. It's one of the benefits of working with Honey. You won't have that 20% go out to the consumers. Maybe instead you'll give them a 5% through Honey, or none. Maybe you won't even let them share any of the coupons through Honey. So even if the coupons do exist, the brand may not want Honey to share it with consumers, so it won't. Which of course is counterintuitive to even owning Honey in the first place. The whole point is that it's supposed to find the best deals, the best coupons to use. But if the brands can say we don't want the best deals to be shared with them, then Honey will say, okay, that's fine. All right, that's okay. You got it, Chief. And it won't.
You have control over the content hosted on the Honey platform. So yes, even if Honey knows of a coupon code that offers say 20% off, but a partnering store tells them, hey, only share a 5% off coupon, then that's the only discount Honey will apply to your cart at the checkout page. I mean, holy shit. Honey wasn't finding you the best deals possible. They were intentionally withholding them from you for their own financial gain. If you partner with us and pay us an affiliate commission, we'll let you control which discount codes are shared on our platform. And we'll tell our consumers we scoured the internet and found them the best deal possible.
This is a scam Ed, Edd n Eddy wouldn't even pull for Jawbreakers. Every component of Honey is a fucking lie. Every single piece of Honey is exploitative. Every single one. So in this video, he talked about how it's scamming consumers as well as the influencers that have promoted it. And he teases that in part 2, there's an entirely new victim that is also getting fucked by Honey. Megalag leads into the upcoming part by stating that in his experimenting and his investigation, he noticed there were times where Honey worked extremely well to an almost unbelievable degree with discounts and deals that just made no sense with everything else he was finding, and sometimes it wasn't overwriting the affiliates. So it wasn't making sense how that discrepancy was happening with everything else he had learned. And then it clicked and he figured out what was going on. So that's what part 2 is going to focus on, and he has some interviews that he has at like a sizzler reel at the end. It's actually incomprehensible just how deep this rabbit hole goes. It really just seems like everything about PayPal Honey is fraudulent, just a full-blown scam. Like that's what it seems. I don't know how any of it could possibly be explained away or justified. I mean, shit, even when they were directly asked about it, they were like, yeah, hey, that is what it is. If Honey's the last thing you click, yeah, we're taking the affiliate. Like, what? Honey is usually going to be the last thing that someone clicks if you have Honey, because you might as well check if there's discounts. That's like the whole selling point of Honey. But not only is it not actually finding you the best coupons, if it's even finding you coupons, it is then stealing the commission from the affiliate that got you there in the first place. So it's fucking everybody. If we're doing nothing. And even when it is actually doing full-blown nothing, where it's on a site that doesn't have Honey Gold, it has no coupons, it will still pop up just to say nothing. It just goes, and then you click got it to get rid of it, and then it'll still steal the commission. It is just crazy how scummy this is. I cannot imagine that what Honey is doing and how it operates is legal. It can't be. It shouldn't be if it somehow is through loopholes. That is completely unacceptable. And Megalag's investigation is extraordinary. A huge thanks to Megalag for bringing all of this information to light. It's an incredible video. Again, I highly recommend you check out the full thing. There's going to be a link to it in the description of this one. I didn't even cover all of it. He has done an immaculate job with this investigation. This is up there with CoffeeZilla's best work. This is incredible. So huge thanks to Megalag for doing this. So yeah, that's really about it. See ya. Did YouTube streaming fail? I'm using past tense because according to a lot of people, it's already buried 6 feet under. There's been a lot of YouTube exclusive streamers over the last month or so that have announced that they're moving back to Twitch or that they're going to be multi-streaming now that their YouTube contracts are up. So the perception is that every YouTube streamer is basically just in purgatory, scratching at their neck, waiting to get back to Twitch. And it kind of has the same reputation Mixer did a long time ago, God rest its soul, where people that were previously on Twitch took a bag from YouTube, had a little paid vacation for a year or two, and then go back to Twitch eventually. And as a former full-time streamer on both platforms, I feel like I'm John Constantine, walking the line between worlds here. And I feel like I just have oodles of insight on this subject. Now, since I've entered my senile years, I have elected to go part-time, so you can hang that jersey in the rafters, or if you're a tier 3 sub on Twitch, you can go ahead and downgrade that puppy or just stop it altogether, because at this point it's kind of like the GameStop trade-in of value. You're not getting a whole lot of bang for your buck with how little I've been streaming recently. I did stream all weekend for the Apex Major in Germany. We were watch partying our squad. Absolutely fucking clapping cheeks out there. Just posted a video on that as well if you'd rather just watch like the condensed version. So it's a topic I really want to explore. And it turns out Ludwig already beat me to it, that rascal. So I kind of want to just go through his video and drop some more tiddlywinks of information about all of it.
Have you been noticing this trend where people who are signed to YouTube live streaming contracts, the day their contract ends, switch right back to Twitch or start multi-streaming?
Yeah, that's a phenomenon that's more common than the cold. You would be hard-pressed to find any Twitch streamers that switch to YouTube streaming and haven't already switched back over the last year or so to Twitch, or at the very least started multi-streaming on Twitch and YouTube. There are less of them than there is hair on my chest, and look at what we're working with here. Everyone seemingly that switched to YouTube streaming, either through YouTube contracts or through Twitch's fumbling over the last couple of years with like some policy changes as well as like some platform direction that people were upset with, have over the last year or so switched back. Because Twitch started to find their footing again with some of the changes and changing things around, like reverting a couple of things, as well as YouTube no longer doing streaming contracts. So it seems like everyone's flooding back to Twitch the second they can.
YouTube and YouTube Live not changing isn't because they move slow. It's because YouTube Live isn't a priority for YouTube. But your friends that went to YouTube are all coming back, Sushi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dan Clancy, cool as a cucumber here. I'm actually shocked he didn't have a cigar in his mouth delivering this little speech. Like, he's basically just dancing on the grave of YouTube's reputation in the public eye. There was a time when everyone, myself included, thought YouTube was going to be a real threat to Twitch's market share. Because Twitch has had the streaming ecosystem in a titty twister for years. They've had the nipple clamps on those honkers. And YouTube started to get a lot of momentum with streamers that were native to Twitch switching to YouTube even without a contract. But it seems most streamers grew tired of YouTube doing absolutely nothing besides letting the streaming element of their site wither, fester, and die. So pretty much all of them have switched back to Twitch at this point, except for the ones that are still under contract or banned from Twitch. But there was a moment where it really did seem like YouTube was encroaching on Twitch's stranglehold on the industry. And at the height of this, Dan Clancy was interviewed asking, are they panicking? Are they worried about Twitch users switching to rival platforms? Is Twitch going to do anything to keep users and streamers on their site? It was also public knowledge at this time that Twitch had completely stopped doing contracts for even their biggest streamers. They just put the kibosh on contracts entirely. And Dan Clancy just said, nope, In fact, he encouraged everyone to try alternatives. Like if they want to stream on YouTube and Kick, go for it. Go hog wild. He said that he believed that all of them would be back to Twitch because he believed in the platform being the best that streaming had to offer. And it seems like his bet has paid off so far. Like Luigi, he won without having to do anything. It seems most streamers that went to other platforms are all starting to flock back to Twitch.
You know, when Myth ended his YouTube contract, I believe he took a break. He stopped streaming on YouTube. Lily, the moment her contract ended, switched back over to Twitch. Dr. Lupo, when his contract ended, started multi-streaming. Tim the Tatman today said he was going to start multi-streaming on Twitch and YouTube. And look, his viewership is better on Twitch after 3 years, I think, on YouTube than it is right now on YouTube.
And that's a pretty crazy thing. So the perception and the fear for a lot of streamers was if they left Twitch, if they ever decided to come back, their viewership wouldn't be what it once was, or their sub count would be significantly lower. But time and time again, it seems like that's just not the case. Not just Tim the Tatman, but there's been other streamers that have gone to other platforms that have come back to Twitch and have been in pretty much the exact same spot that they left off in, no matter how many years had passed. Everybody knows when you switch platforms, your audience doesn't necessarily follow you. You're definitely not getting the whole kit and caboodle to come over to the new platform that you've come to. You're lucky to get like even a fraction of it. Like, yeah, you'll hit like huge peaks for the first couple of streams with people like, you know, trickling in just to check it out. But that audience you built up on the previous platform, they're most likely just going to go back to that because that's the platform they're most comfortable on. So if you're not on it, they'll probably just find another streamer and maybe they'll occasionally tune into you on the other platform. But for the most part, they don't get converted to the new platform that you've switched to. So with the example here, Tim the Tatman, he built up a YouTube streaming audience, and now that he went back to Twitch, that Twitch audience he used to have, it seems like they're still using Twitch and look to be receptive to Tim the Tatman being back on their preferred platform, so his viewership has kind of stayed pretty much the same there.
And nothing fucking changed. He's literally doing better on Twitch. And you might be wondering, okay, why are streamers switching back to Twitch? Well, one might be because they do better. They get more viewers. Two, it's because they also make more money.
I saw someone say sub count, by the way, earlier. I didn't answer it. I apologize. I'm not making up messages here. We are at 6.3.
Crowd, our game's over.
So you have an official number?
I'm joining up.
We're probably closer to 6.5, if I had to guess.
And Tim basically says he got 6,500 subs in one single stream on Twitch, and on YouTube he had 14,000 subs. So he basically got almost half his subscriber count in one day. So he's going to start making more money from Twitch subs than he ever did from YouTube members.
That is another huge thing. That one is a big ol' fucking set to wumbo explanation for why a lot of people will switch back to Twitch. The earning potential on YouTube streams is substantially lower than it is on Twitch. Twitch is a platform with culture. Chat experience on Twitch has always and will always be better than YouTube. Period. Hands down. There's nothing YouTube can do to really beat that, and it doesn't seem like YouTube's even trying. They're just waving the white flag on that. They're just eating the huge fucking L on just having a bad chat experience compared to Twitch. But also, Twitch just has a culture of subbing. Like, Twitch has Prime subs, which is something you can do for free for your favorite streamer, where you sub to them with Twitch Prime, and it's free for you, and the streamer gets paid. Like, that is a deal YouTube just can't match. And it's extremely beneficial to the streamers on Twitch. So Tim the Tatman can make in one day what it took 3 years for him to make on YouTube, at least when it comes to like membership numbers versus sub numbers. So YouTube has a sub equivalent with members, but nobody fucking uses it. Most people don't even know it exists. Also, it's not even functional on mobile. You have to go outside of the YouTube app, like on like a different browser on your phone in order to even find the join button for most channels. Like, it's not something that's integrated into YouTube streaming. So most streamers on YouTube will never come close to the amount of subs a Twitch streamer will have. And they won't even come close to the amount of money a Twitch streamer earns if they are streaming on YouTube. So that's another really enticing reason why a lot of people that were streaming on YouTube are going back to Twitch. Also, another obvious one is discoverability. The main critique of YouTube streaming since its inception has been how hard it is to navigate and how difficult it is to even find streams in the fucking first place. And they have done little to improve that. Any channels that have found success streaming on YouTube are channels that already had an audience before they started streaming or had an audience from elsewhere that came in for those YouTube streams. Anyone that's just starting with streaming on YouTube, it's not going to bring in any viewers because discoverability is non-existent. YouTube is actually really good when it comes to like event streams though. So this is something Ludwig also talks about. If a big moment happens in an event, like grand finals is going on in some kind of big tournament, and a lot of people start flooding in, well, YouTube recognizes that and then actually starts recommending that stream outside of the normal little bubble, like the quarantine unit that it keeps streams in. So then you actually will get some eyes on it. But if you're like just daily streaming normal shit or just starting out streaming, you're not going to have that stream go to anyone outside of whatever audience you've already built up going into it. You have better odds of writing your YouTube handle on a paper airplane and throwing it out of your window and hoping a neighbor sees it and checks it out than you do just streaming on YouTube and relying on them to push it. It doesn't happen. Whereas on Twitch, even though there are so many streamers to compete with in every category, your odds of being seen are higher. Your potential to have some viewers trickle in is just higher on Twitch.
If you look at the most watched major streaming platforms by hours watched of live broadcasts, Q2 of this year, YouTube gaps Twitch. It's not close. 3 times bigger, 15 billion. However, that doesn't exactly tell the full story. Because if you look at this, you also have to include, some people like YouTube's biggest live streamer by hours watched, which is not iShowSpeed. It is Lo-Fi Girl.
Yeah, so just looking at the cold, hard Carfax here, looking at these numbers, taking a peek under the hood, it looks like on the surface YouTube is slapping Twitch around when it comes to these numbers. But it's really not. Because these numbers are bloated just by the sheer volume of streams that are going on that are just literally always on. So like Lo-Fi Girl, probably the biggest stream in the world when it comes to watch hours. Like the watch time on that is absurd because it's 24/7 nonstop with tens of thousands of viewers that are idly just listening to it in the background or have it on while they sleep. So it's not like the healthiest number that they have here, it's just the biggest one. So it doesn't really tell the full story. And Lud also mentions some other very, very popular streams on YouTube that really inflate the fuck out of those numbers.
Things like Lo-Fi Girl or videos playing on loop or what there's a bunch of on YouTube Live, which is scams. In fact, one of the biggest live streams right now on YouTube is Tesla, except it's not Tesla. It is a scam account with 20,000 subscribers with 86,000 bots watching to give it some credibility. So people click on it who aren't part of the bot number, and then they scan this code, and then they lose all of their crypto. Do not scan this code. I'm showing this as an example of YouTube's corrupt botting problem.
If anybody actually scanned that QR code from Ludwig's video, I believe that it is now Ludwig's responsibility to pay you back for all of your lost crypto. He is liable now because Ludwig scammed you. I had the decency to censor the scam QR code. I'm just being a little goofster. If anyone actually scans that QR code and loses all their crypto, they 100% deserve it for being an unfathomably stupid buffoon. I will never be able to wrap my head around who actually falls for those. I truly don't understand it. Like, I know the default answer is like old people. I don't believe that because they probably don't have crypto in the first place. But anyway, what Ludwig is highlighting here is that these scams have tons and tons of viewership, last for quite a long time, thus bump those numbers up on the YouTube streaming hours. And they're not real. Like, you can probably find 10 of these streams going on right now. Like, that also tells me the scam must be pretty successful. There must be some people falling for it. I don't know how, you absolute imbeciles. But there's tons of them happening all the time, inflating those numbers, and YouTube doesn't do anything about it. It doesn't seem.
Like actual streamers, actual people who are streaming video games. Well, then the contest becomes a lot more fair. And there's still a lot of huge streamers. I mean, look, Steak right now is live with 41,000 viewers. That is massive. That is a huge stream.
When you look at the actual streams going on with real sentient human beings behind them, the number gets a lot lower than you would expect given the huge number that you can see in the data. Especially when you look at gaming in particular, the number there is lower than Twitch. Twitch is beating them like my meat in that department.
So if I were to rephrase the question, is YouTube live streaming a failure? In America? In English-speaking countries? Kind of. Yeah. Maybe a little bit. They're not doing as well as people thought they would. Across the world? Fuck no. They're doing amazing. They are crushing. And you know this is true if you watch VTubers. VTubers crush on YouTube, man. All of Asia seems to prefer YouTube for a live streaming platform, and it makes sense.
And this is something I've been saying for a while as well. Internationally, YouTube streaming is huge, but in America, it's definitely second fiddle to Twitch. The biggest breakout star on YouTube streaming is obviously iShowSpeed. But outside of Speed, all the other big English-speaking streamers are on Twitch. But internationally, YouTube's doing very well. Ludwig also gave an example about how Twitch abandoned South Korea recently, so there's just a lot of places that are preferring YouTube for streaming outside of America. And another thing, YouTube's player is just better than Twitch's. You can rewind the stream if you want to. The bitrate is higher. The streams look better. So if you're someone that just likes to kick back and watch a stream and not really interact at all, YouTube's player is going to be very enticing and probably going to be the preferred platform for you. But a lot of people who watch streaming because they like the interactive element of it. And that's where Twitch destroys YouTube. It has an entire culture to its chat. So a lot of people, well, I'm not even gonna say a lot of people, everybody prefers the Twitch chat experience. Like, there's very few people that like the YouTube chat experience because there really isn't one. Like, even going to the biggest streams, you're not going to see a whole lot going on in the chat aside from like some spam here and there. But on Twitch, you'll see like entire discussions happening in chat or like a bunch of like inside jokes and all kinds of shit that just makes it feel like a real community as opposed to on YouTube's chat experience. Overall, I have a similar takeaway as Ludwig when it comes to whether or not YouTube streaming is a failure. Overall, it's not because it's doing so well internationally, but when it comes to English-speaking streaming content, it definitely is well behind Twitch. Yes, it is gaining a little bit, but more and more streamers are just switching back to Twitch. A lot of the influx came from seeing big streamers come to YouTube and people following that path, and now that even more are going back to Twitch, I think that's going to continue to happen. But yeah, it doesn't mean YouTube streaming as a whole is dead or a complete failure. It just really lost all of its footing in America. I do, however, disagree with Ludwig on a pretty big thing, which is multi-streaming. I started multi-streaming almost a year ago now, and I actually think it was an incredibly good decision, and one that I still believe is a very smart decision for many streamers regardless of their size. Ludwig believes that multi-streaming isn't great because it makes your viewers spread out. So it basically splinters them between two platforms, which makes it very difficult to reach the consistently high highs of some of like the top streamers on Twitch. By being married to one platform in particular, you can cultivate that audience and grow it there so that way you're at the top of those categories consistently, like on Twitch or something, so you'll keep getting new viewers and reach insane peak viewership because as more people find you, more people talk about you, and it just keeps feeding that fire, as opposed to having a lower number on that platform because some of the viewers are watching you on a different platform, so then not as many people are seeing it and talking about it. And, like, I get the point, but I do think that being on two different platforms is reaching two different audiences. And I think that's pretty clear looking at, like, Tim the Tatman here, right? Like, his YouTube number is lower than his Twitch number, even though he started as a Twitch streamer and spent 3 years as a YouTube streamer. It's pretty clear that those have to be different viewers that are being reached. And I think there's a lot of value in that. For one, I think it's better for viewers because you give them the option to watch you on their favorite platform. So The viewers that prefer YouTube can watch you there if they want like the better player, or they can watch you on Twitch if they want the better interactive experience with chat. And I think it's good for the streamer too, because you're reaching two separate audiences at the same time. The YouTube audience and the Twitch audience, yes, there's definitely going to be overlap, but it's not like it's the same audience on both platforms that's been fractured. It's two separate ones, and I think there's definitely benefits there, because if he wasn't multi-streaming, for example, he was only on Twitch, the 11,000 people on YouTube that were watching Tim might not be watching him on Twitch, so he'd stay at 17,000 over there and completely miss out on 11,000 eyeballs from YouTube. Plus, there is the added benefit that YouTube VODs are significantly better than Twitch VODs. So, when he finishes that multi-stream, his YouTube stream immediately saves as a video to his channel in the live tab that viewers can go back and watch, and also that gets put into the algorithm pretty often. There are streams that'll pop up in recommended, even if you're not someone already watching streams on YouTube, if there's some type of overlap in the algorithm between what video you watched and what stream gets popped up. So it also helps you in that regard, reaching a new audience that maybe found you through a VOD and then chooses to watch you on YouTube. So I just really think there's a lot of things that make multi-streaming a good idea, regardless of how big a streamer is. I think it's a very, very good idea for someone that's just starting out streaming, because you want to lat spread as much as possible to get your lats exposed to whoever is on whatever platform. Just spreading your wings as far and wide as they can go on as many platforms as you can, I think is great for anyone that's just starting with streaming. Which I know Ludwig does agree with. He mentions that, and he also mentions that multi-streaming is optimal for events. He thinks that's the one that makes the most sense. And he's right. Multi-streaming events is a great idea because it puts the event in front of so many other eyeballs. But I do really think it's a very viable strategy for just daily, consistent streamers as well. It just puts your content to more people, and I don't think it necessarily fractures your viewership all that much, because I really am starting to believe there isn't a ton of overlap between Twitch viewers and YouTube viewers. I think they stay in their own pockets with their preferred platforms, so I don't even think you take a huge viewership hit when you start multi-streaming. When I started multi-streaming, I was averaging like 11 or 12,000 viewers on Twitch, and then I started multi-streaming, and then my average on Twitch went down to like 8 or 9,000, so it was a little bit, but then I gained about 15,000 on YouTube. So, you know, it really doesn't seem like it's that big of a trade-off when it comes to multi-streaming. I really think it's more positives than negatives. But anyway, I just wanted to yap about this as a part-time streamer, just kind of wanted to weigh in here. That's about it. See ya. Many of you watching this may have been experiencing a problem that you don't have an answer to, and it's left you cold, alone, and scared. But don't worry, I'm here to shine a light in your life and give you the answers you've been seeking. Over the last couple days, a lot of you watching this have probably experienced YouTube running slower than me after a night of heavy drinking. And there's a reason for it. It's not your fault. You're blameless here. You're a victim. Over the last few days, many innocent users have reported issues with YouTube where videos either won't load, will endlessly buffer, completely freeze their entire browser, and just a numerous smorgasbord of other problems when trying to watch YouTube videos or even just use YouTube as a platform. And there's still a little confusion around exactly what happened here. There was a lot of scrambling and panic to figure out what's going on. If it was on YouTube's end, did they secretly roll out an update that ended up fucking itself in the ass or something, or what exactly is happening behind the scenes? But one thing that has been confirmed is that this doesn't apply to everybody, but everyone that is affected has one thing in common: ad blockers. So if you are one of these individuals that can't load videos right now, or videos that do load start buffering and freezing and don't really get fixed, or your entire browser slows down when you're trying to watch a YouTube video, turn off your ad block right now, and it'll fix the problem lickety-split. It's the one simple solution, the secret that YouTube doesn't want you to know. Try it yourself right now, and I am guaranteed that your problem will be solved instantly. Now, the cause of this isn't 100% known at the moment. Some sources are reporting that it might actually be an ad block issue as opposed to something YouTube is doing on their end on purpose. Even though this does seem like a nefarious plan YouTube might try given their stance on ad blockers over the last year, where they've made it very clear they view it as the ultimate evil. Like, they're doing their best to crack down on ad block usage, and this PC Gamer article does touch on that, but states that even though this fits into their MO, it's probably not them causing it. They even had a comment from Christopher Lawton, who's YouTube's community manager, that said, loading delays experienced by AdBlock and AdBlock Plus users are not caused by our AdBlock detection efforts. And then goes into more detail about all of it, and even mentions that that statement can be taken with a pinch of salt, given YouTube's track record. Now, obviously, I'm super dumb stink brain when it comes to very technical things like this. However, when I started experiencing this problem a few days ago, I tested on multiple browsers with like native built-in AdBlock and still got the same problem. So I don't know if it's specific to just AdBlock and AdBlock Plus. It seems like it's a more widespread issue than that, which leads me to personally believe YouTube has some kind of hand in this at the moment. The motivation for doing something like this should be pretty clear. They'd want to drive users to either turn off their AdBlock or subscribe to YouTube Premium, which gives you the ad-free experience, and I've tested with my YouTube Premium account, no problems whatsoever. None. Not a single hiccup. Smooth sailing. So if this really is part of YouTube's strategy here to get users to do one of those two things, that shit is tragic. To ruin their service for anyone that doesn't play by their no AdBlock rule or pay for it is rough. That's brutal. Now, when I first started experiencing this, I did the number one thing I always do when experiencing a problem. I called up Matt to see if he was having the same thing, which I bet a lot of you have noticed is a very common trend where anytime something's gone awry, I immediately phone a friend and call Matt. He's like my Powerpuff Girls and I'm the mayor. I just always hit the hotline and beg him to help me fix something. But he wasn't at the time, so I wrote it off as it just being some kind of glitch or some kind of service outage that I was experiencing. I didn't want to toy around with the idea that I was the one boofing loony juice here, thinking that YouTube was artificially shitifying its platform for anyone with an ad block. They've made it very clear how much they hate ad blocks and they've waged an open war on it, but this feels like some kind of war crime to make the platform almost unusable for anyone that uses an ad block. That seems too far. That's like using Agent Orange or White Phosphorus in a battle. Again, nothing is completely confirmed here with what happened in all of this hoopla, if it's YouTube's fault or if it's something that went awry with the ad blocks. PC Gamer makes a great article that makes strong arguments for it being an ad block problem, not a YouTube one. However, there is a mention of uBlock Origin not being affected there, and from what I've heard from people I've talked to, as well as what people were saying on stream, uBlock was affected briefly, but they quickly rolled out an update that fixed it. So if it was an ad block problem, I don't see why that would have also affected uBlock temporarily, if it truly did, if those are real reports. And also, it wouldn't explain why when I tried to use other browsers with their built-in ad block, I also still experienced the problem. To me, it still seems a little more widespread than just that, but perhaps it really isn't a YouTube issue. It's just, right now, to me, it seems like YouTube may have had some kind of hand in it, but again, no one knows for sure right now. All we know is it's a big stinking mess here, and hopefully it gets sorted out, and hopefully this isn't an actual strategy here from YouTube to push people to pay for premium or turn off their ad block, because that'd be super scummy. That'd be very bad. That'd be super naughty, YouTube, if you're watching this. Yucky. Hopefully that's not the case. I talked about it a little deeper on stream and talked with Stream about their experience with it, so I'll go ahead and show you all that. Ad blocker gang. You just reminded me of something. Anyone using an ad blocker, have you noticed YouTube being almost unusable? Because I use an ad blocker, and YouTube will not load a single video for me anymore. It stutters, it freezes, it stops. Overwhelmingly, yes. So they're artificially doing that, right? They have to be. Because on this account where I have YouTube Premium, it's totally fine. Or if I go incognito, it's totally fine, because the ad block is off. And I've talked to a bunch of people, and it's 50-50 on people that use ad block and having an horrible experience and people that are still fine. So I'm thinking what's happening is they're rolling out, like very slowly and subtly, this artificial shitification of this YouTube service if you're using an ad block. So instead of just going whole hog so everyone's experiencing it, it's only certain people, like certain chunks. Yeah, that's actually already been confirmed. Has it? I haven't heard about it. I remember there was like a theory floating around a couple months ago that that might happen, but I didn't think that got confirmed. YouTube is on a war against ad blockers. The video platform has been deliberately reducing its site speed for viewers who use ad blocker. The strategy of slowing down the platform started last year and is now reportedly reaching more users. This was reported 22 hours ago from Ars Technica as well. Yeah, wait, this is actually confirmed. No tinfoil hat conspiracy here. This is the goddamn truth. A video at the top of Reddit post shows what some users are seeing. A video with an ad block on can't load quick enough to keep up with the playback speed, which isn't normal. It's maybe 2x, and has to pause at around 30 seconds. Turning off the ad block immediately improves loading performance, with the white line on YouTube's progress bar showing significantly more buffering runway. Users report that the ad block detection causes strange issues like lag. Yes, it doesn't work sometimes. That makes full screen or comments not work, or Chrome being unable to load other web pages while YouTube is open. It like tanks the entire performance of your PC if you try and use YouTube with an ad block right now, for me. They're not just fighting ad block, they're actively making non-premium account usage worse. I don't know, because if I just turn off the ad block, it fixes it right away. So I feel like it's just ad block. Obviously trying to push you subtly to get premium, but if you turn off ad block, it fixes it. And I've tried this with every browser too. When ad block is on, it shitifies the experience on YouTube. When ad block is off, it's fine. I've done this with every browser I can find right now, except Edge, because I'm not even going to bother. But everything I try it on, this happens. So that's why videos keep lagging. Yeah, that is 100% why. If you turn off your ad block right now, I guarantee whatever video you're trying to watch, smooth sailing. I literally looked this all up and they updated uBlock Origin and fixed it. Well, if you're using uBlock, I guess maybe that fixes it. I don't know. I don't use uBlock. I just use the ad block. And then I use the built-in ad block for the others as well. Maybe that's also the reason for the audio lags during your stream on YouTube. Oh, interesting. Yeah, for everyone that reports the audio lag occasionally on YouTube streams, maybe it is because of the ad block. That is very interesting, because Twitch doesn't have that problem, and it's not an OBS problem because I can see it on my end. So maybe that is why. It lags your entire browser if you have a YouTube tab open with ad block. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. It makes the entire fucking computer run worse if you do that. It's crazy. It's craziness. That has to be illegal, right? Am I on crazy pills right now, or is that like actually illegal? Tanking your service to try and push people to a paid version of it or something? There's no way that's allowed. What would that even be called? Extortion. I don't know about extortion. That might not apply. They own it, they can do what they wish, they believe. Yeah, but you can make an argument that YouTube is somewhat of a monopoly, and by tanking its service like this to try and push you to the premium or whatever, or punish users for trying to use its service in a free capacity, that it's gotta be some kind of violation. Like, there's absolutely some kind of consumer protection for shit like that. Apple did it with their phones to push its users to get new phones. And didn't they face a huge issue for that? Yeah, iPhone owners were part of a class action lawsuit against Apple alleging it deliberately slowed down its old iPhones to get people to upgrade to the latest model, and they're finally getting their payout. A judge has cleared the way for the payments to proceed, as reported last week by SiliconValley.com. So they did face repercussions for it. You can't do that, really. Oh, and they're paying out $113 million. That's some big clams. That's literally nothing to Apple, though. No, but it's still a big settlement. And it still shows that you can't do that. Like, you're not really allowed. Have you had a gooning sesh today, brother? You need Jesus. ASAP. God bless. Good Lord. No gooning for me today. Dude turned off the ad blocks and the computer's running 100% better. That's actually insane. I know, it's not a conspiracy. They are actually just doing it. Guys, gooning is just jacking off. Oh my god, don't you ever say that again. Not in this dojo. Not in this sanctuary. Gooning is like 10 levels above just jacking off. Watch what you say, mister. Wash your mouth out with some soap. Stop everything you're doing right now. I don't care how important it is. I have news that'll blow it out of the water. And trust me, you're going to want to get this sitting down. So if you're in the operating room watching this, it's time to put down the scalpel and pay attention. YouTube has just made a massive change to the platform, and in standard YouTube fashion has done a horrible job at communicating it to the community. So it's up to me, Ace Reporter Charles here, to tackle this topic from the front lines, just riding through like Paul Revere lighting the lanterns, letting you all know that another awful set of changes are coming to YouTube. that have already overnight tanked some creators' source of income from their channels, demonetized like half of their videos with no explanation, and more channels are soon to follow as this continues to roll out. And I'll let it be known right away here that yes, my channel has been hit extremely hard by this new shadow policy that they've slid into the equation here. The policy is, if you say any swear word or anything less than proper in the first 8 seconds of a video, you instantly get demonetized for it no matter what. There is no wiggle room. If you say anything that's not squeaky clean Weenie Hut Jr. and you let that rip in the first 8 to 15 seconds of that video, well, you're just getting blasted, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, to a lot of you, hearing that's probably not surprising because the previous policy that all YouTubers were playing ball with was the first 30 seconds you couldn't say fuck. You couldn't say anything super hard like fuck. Because if you did, you'd likely get demonetized. But now, it applies to the first 8 seconds and all profanity is being treated equally, except for a couple of exceptions like hell and damn, I guess. Maybe even ass. You might be able to squeeze a little ass in there in the beginning, I suppose, if the YouTube Illuminati is feeling generous with their policy enforcement that day. Now, while that's all pretty clear about just not using any profanity whatsoever in the first 8 seconds, it gets a little muddy when it starts talking about a focal usage of profanity throughout the video. It says such as a mention in every sentence, but that's not exactly how they enforce it. For a lot of the videos that have been demonetized, at least on my side, it's not like I'm going around hitting them with like Saints Row dialogue. It's just very confusing what's actually triggering this new demonetization wave that's sweeping through like a plague. For example, RT Game, again, isn't exactly a creator known for like intense swearing and getting out of control and unhinged and saying profanity in every sentence like this policy here. And yet, so many of his videos just got demonetized. And he's also not someone that does a whole lot of cursing and swearing like a sailor in the first like minute of his videos either. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's not as clear as these rules seem to think that it is. Also, this rule applies retroactively to every piece of content ever made, even as far back as like 2007. So like half of my catalog of videos is now demonetized. This happened to a ton of creators, and because it's a new policy, yet every old video ever made now has to play by those rules, so it ended up with so much being demonetized. But it's very vague when it comes to the enforcement here. Let me give you just 2 quick examples from 2 new videos I made. Both of these were monetized as of 12 hours ago. So this first one is just called Good News. It is legitimately just going over very wholesome topics. The focal point is not on swearing, it's not a potty mouth kind of video. It's just going over wholesome topics. But in the intro, I said shit pretty early. This week's been pretty doom and gloom with a lot of awful shit coming to light all across the internet. So me saying shit here is clearly what triggered the demonetization flag. Okay, a little upsetting, but they've now made these rules clear and they're retroactive, so I get it. But here's an example of one that makes no sense at all by their new rules. This is me talking about Godslap Issue 2 being out. Don't worry, I'm here now. I know for the last few months you've been cold and afraid, the uncertainty eating away at you, wondering what comes next. Well, I'm here to show you what comes next. It's issue 2 of Godslap, baby. I probably don't need to explain what Godslap is, you already know. It's our comic book series that's become more popular than the Bible. There's no profanity at all, not even low-level profanity. I don't mention ass or butt or anything like that at all. I'm just talking about Godslap and getting excited. It's a comic book series we've worked on for a long time, and I made this video just going over everything and letting you all know that it's available at godslapbook.com. This wasn't supposed to be an ad for it, but it's a great example here because there is no profanity used throughout this video until 5 minutes and 37 seconds into it after giving a plot summary for issue 1. Surrounding Sal, finishing them off with more finger flicks which blow their fucking head off. They share a brief conversation. So then what could have possibly triggered this demonetization? Is it using profanity at all that's going to result in demonetization? Because that'd be very concerning if so. The best guess I can muster is they must have been really upset about the animation because we had an animation made for issue 2 and it's a pretty gory animation. So it comes in at around a minute into the video and there is some animated gore and violence, but that's a minute into it. And again, that's not the focus of it. And I wouldn't think anyone would be like disturbed or shocked by the content. It's not anything that's, egregious or over the top. It's just violence in a comic book and animated format So would that really now result in demonetization for any channel that has anything that's even close to this level of violence? Because that's really strict. Like, what you see there is something you'd find in like any M-rated or even T-rated game sometimes. Like, it's not that extreme. Like, I don't see why that would warrant being demonetized, but it is a bit scary because this has all happened overnight with no explanation. And it's not just, you know, bad words and things like that. This applies to so much other shit that they're now enforcing heavily. But it's not just for getting a little wacky with your language in videos that'll result in demonetization now. If you're getting a little wacky with your game choice, if you're a gaming YouTuber, you can get demonetized for it, even age restricted in some cases. If you're playing a game that's kind of violent, you're very likely to get demonetized for it. And if there's bad language in that game, especially early on in the video you make covering that game, you're likely to be demonetized for it. And in fact, Callisto Protocol is the most recent example. You can get age restricted for it too. Callisto Protocol was deemed too gory, it's too much, this is very unholy stuff we're seeing here. So anyone that made videos on Callisto Protocol got age restricted for it, including me. A couple of them I know slid under the radar, but for the most part, anything that had Callisto Protocol did get age restricted, which is almost poetic because you might remember that Callisto Protocol is inspired by Dead Space, and Dead Space 2 had the worst marketing campaign of all time called Your Mom Hates Dead Space, and it was all about how offended mothers were getting at Dead Space. It was very silly, but now it's like become reality for YouTube. YouTube is now that Dead Space mom when it comes to violent video games. It's pretty pathetic, but what's the saddest part about this whole situation is YouTube's refusal to be transparent with this and make it clear that these policy changes are coming. I had to find out, as did everyone else, after being hit by it and then doing digging, because anytime there's a policy change, YouTube treats it like a government secret, like the Krabby Patty secret formula. They just refuse to share it. So I had to learn by searching around online, talking to other creators, as well as talking directly to YouTube in order to get answers for what was going on. And even my YouTube contact wasn't aware of this until I brought it up and he did digging on his end. And that is absolutely not any fault of his own. That just goes to show you how split YouTube is internally, where things just aren't communicated effectively even on the inside. So how the fuck can they possibly manage to inform the community, I guess? It is so laughable. This policy is a game changer for a lot of channels. You have to completely alter your content strategy depending on like what you do. Like if you play like a certain game that could now be deemed a little too violent for ads. Like this is something that changes a lot for many creators. And you have to find out by going through fucking Twitter and then talking to people in whispers on Discord in order to figure out what was happening. That is so pathetic. That YouTube's repeated inability to communicate even their biggest changes to the platform just makes no sense. It just can't be that hard to put out clear documents letting people know what's around the corner and an estimated arrival date. I don't see what makes that so difficult and why they struggle so greatly with it. There was one article I found about this in early December, but of course there was no like set time frame for when this would actually launch or if it was even really going to launch for sure. Because all of those things are written so vaguely, you never really know what's going to come to the platform and what's not going to. Like, it's just so frustrating to have them constantly make these awful choices without ever consulting creators or users of the platform, obviously, but also just not telling them either. Unfortunately, it's all just another common YouTube L here. I had to unmask the Scooby-Doo villain, and per usual, it was YouTube. So if you're just now figuring this out and wondering why your channel got demonetized over the last 24 hours, I'm sorry I had to be the one to shit out this bad news onto your plate. Would have been a lot more palatable if it came from YouTube's mouth as opposed to my ass, but it is what it is. I am very, very convinced they will never actually communicate policy changes, ever. At least not in any effective manner. So you'll just always have to wonder when the next big policy change is coming to fuck you in the mouth. So that's a pretty fun thing to think about when making content on YouTube. And yeah, just wanted to give everyone the little update here since YouTube didn't. That's about it. See ya. Yesterday, a very popular YouTuber named Corey Kinshin posted an absolute bombshell of a video accusing YouTube of some awful things and explained the whole situation that led to the claims. And he does not hold back. The gloves were off and the chef's hat was on because he just started cooking their ass. Now, of course, it's not unusual for a YouTuber to make a video criticizing the platform. It happens every day because YouTube is a company that very, very rarely gets anything right, so it's constantly catching more shit than a Walmart toilet, and rightfully so. But even with hourly uploads of everything wrong with YouTube, the problems that Corey Kinshin highlights are some that I haven't ever really even seen discussed before. The video's titled YouTube Racism and Favoritism, and it was actually the #1 trending video all day yesterday, and right now it's the #2, which means this is the front page of YouTube. This is the #1 video on YouTube, so I bet they're thrilled about that. Corey Kinshin has over 14 million subscribers, so this is a video that carries a lot of weight.
You guys either play favorites, you are racist, or it's a mix of the two. These are the three options, YouTube.
It's a pretty aggressive intro, but he is rightfully upset about unfair treatment he's been experiencing. So, after going through what he's gone through, he believes that there's only really 3 possible conclusions to draw from it, where it's either YouTube policy team playing favorites, members of the policy team being racist, or some combination of the two. Now, before getting into the specifics of the situation, I'd like to say I think most people have been aware of favoritism on YouTube for quite a while. You know, it's not exactly like the Krabby Patty secret formula. It's not hush hush. I think everyone has recognized that there is some level of favoritism on the platform. I mean, there's even that viral video from a few years ago where the CEO of YouTube said to Juice WRLD that they need to pump his numbers up, which indicates artificial growth. It means that they have at least some capability of boosting channels, whether that's through the algorithm and pushing it to more people, or just inflating it themselves for channels they deem worthwhile and good for business. And the inverse is likely true, where they can hide channels they think are problematic and bad for business. So favoritism is something that people have been loosely aware of for a long time. And also when it comes to, mainstream media sources, like late night show hosts have much more leeway than an average YouTuber. They can say and do a lot of things that get normal YouTubers demonetized or age restricted or straight up striked. And that doesn't apply to the big boys in the scene. So favoritism is something I think most people know exists on YouTube. That's not like a conspiracy theory. However, the claims that Corey is about to make against the YouTube policy team in regards to racism are pretty interesting.
August 18th, I uploaded The Mortuary Assistant. A lot of you would know it got age restricted. I saw that all these other YouTubers were playing The Mortuary Assistant and only my video seemed to be age restricted. So I appealed the restriction. Hey guys, I'm not sure why mine got age restricted. Could you look into this? Appeal rejected.
This isn't the whole situation, it's just the beginning. I already want to talk about something in particular though, the appeal system. Corey mentions that after appealing, he was denied, rejected pretty quickly. That's the norm. I can count on one hand the amount of times I've ever even heard about an appeal being overturned. That just never happens. The only time an appeal doesn't lead to rejection is when you make a trending hashtag about it on Twitter. You make a big hoopla on Twitter and then YouTube will go to your appeal and, make it in your favor. But if you don't do that, if you don't stir up a shitstorm and start throwing sand in YouTube's face on Twitter, they won't bother. I'm very confident that there is no human being in the review process for appeals. In fact, I would wager my anal virginity that there is no human being that looks at appeals. And if I'm wrong, then I fully invite the YouTube policy head to come raw dog me. I am so fucking confident that there is no human being that looks at those appeals, because they almost always end in rejection and standing with the initial decision, even when it's blatantly wrong. The algorithm makes mistakes. But the appeal is supposed to bring a human being into the equation to look at it, investigate the case, and decide whether or not it was an algorithmic error or a correct enforcement. And there are times where it was just outright incorrect, just outright wrong, and they will still stand with that decision. So I just don't think the appeal system works. That needs a drastic overhaul ASAP.
Only my video got age restricted. My YouTube rep, who isn't on the policy team, he looked at my video and he said, hey, it could possibly be this part at the end about it. So I looked at that part. The first thing I did was try to find other YouTubers who had that part, or at least a part similar. So I go to Markiplier's Mortuary Assistant Part 3, and he had the same situation going on, and his video wasn't age restricted.
Corey explains that after the appeal was rejected, he talked to his YouTube rep who speculated as to why they decided to enforce the age restriction, and he highlighted a potential problem with the ending of the game that was in his video. So Corey then went to other videos to try and find that exact same part, and he found it in one of Markiplier's videos, which wasn't age restricted, yet had the exact same content that Corey's did. So he was left confused. Why is Markiplier's video okay, but his isn't? Now I want to immediately squash the argument I know a few people will make that Corey Kenshin might not be as advertiser friendly as Markiplier, which is why Markiplier is being favored by YouTube here. That just doesn't work, because Markiplier still says bad words. He'll say fuck and shit and damn, you know, he'll squeeze in some naughty words. Corey Kenshin is squeaky clean. He doesn't say any naughty words. He even censors bad words in the games that he plays in the videos. He is the more advertiser-friendly creator. So it's not just YouTube playing favorites for whoever's more advertiser and brand friendly. It's not the case, because if it was, Corey would be the winner there. So it definitely has to be something else at play for why they demonetized Corey and not Mark. Now, if you've been around my channel for a while, you might remember I went through an almost identical situation a couple years ago. I made a video on a fake road rage incident and got an entire strike for it from YouTube, a policy guideline strike from YouTube for it. And I found that exact same clip that I was talking about in one of Markiplier's videos that wasn't age restricted, demonetized, or anything. I was so angry, I was wiggling in rage. I was so upset I couldn't sit still in my chair, so I made this video talking about it, and then I made a big stink on Twitter. And Markiplier actually came to my rescue, like a fucking hero of justice, a symbol, like Batman. He came in and said, fair is fair, where is my strike, YouTube? And YouTube responded, not by getting rid of my strike, but by striking Markiplier's video as well. So now both of us ended up with a strike, and Markiplier made a video talking about that, and eventually YouTube decided to rescind both strikes, saying that it was an overreaction to things and it was a mistake on their part. But obviously you can see the problem here. They're not enforcing their rules equally across the platform, and they're just not enforcing them properly at all. There was no reason that video should have ever resulted in a strike by any stretch of imagination. I can understand the algorithm having a bit of a oopsie, a little boo-boo there, and mistaking a fake comical road rage for a real incident, but the appeal process is supposed to come in there where a human being looks at it and within 3 seconds should be like, oh, this is clearly a joke. But that never happened because I don't believe humans actually review the content. I'm getting sidetracked. Point is, the rules aren't enforced appropriately or equally. So a kind of similar situation, but not exactly the same as what Corey's been going through with YouTube here. However, I do find it interesting that Markiplier is present in both of these cases. I feel so bad for Markiplier. He's done nothing wrong. He just keeps getting dragged into these disputes here with YouTube.
So I send a video to my YouTube rep. I say, hey, Markiplier has this situation in his video, but his isn't age restricted. Could you send that to the policy team and see what they say about that? They came back and they removed my age restriction. They took it off. After they already rejected my appeal. I expected them to triple down and give Markiplier an age restriction too. But they looked at Mark's video and they used that to verify my innocence.
After being confronted with evidence, the policy team folds and gets rid of the age restriction on Corey's video, but he decides to press forward by trying to get an explanation for why it was okay for Markiplier and not okay for him. Why isn't it the same ruling, and why is it only now, after being confronted, that they decide to get rid of the age restriction after already denying his appeal?
So I send my YouTube rep a lengthy email detailing my feelings about the entire situation. So my YouTube rep assures me he's going to continue this dialogue with the policy team. So another day, another 2 days go by, and what do you know? They re-age restricted the video. They re-age restricted the video. I say, no way did they do that. I go to Markiplier's video now, and now his video is age restricted.
Yeah, it's pure pandemonium and chaos at the YouTube policy headquarters now. They re-age restricted Corey's video and then slapped Markiplier with an age restriction as well. So they panicked, clearly. After being confronted and after Corey's email as well as the phone call he had with the YouTube rep, they obviously caught wind of what was happening. Corey Kenshin was wondering why he was being unfairly treated by the YouTube policy team. No one else got age restrictions, it was just him. So he pressed further, pressed harder, and the policy team reacted by bringing back the age restriction to him and Markiplier. So it's like, hey, no, look, everything's good now. Now everything's even, right? We enforce this equally across the creators, so we're good here, right? No, obviously. Corey is rightfully upset. He was treated unfairly. And since YouTube is so unbelievably shit at giving clear answers to anything, Corey can only speculate as to what happened here. And he draws the potential conclusion that maybe someone or some members of the YouTube policy team are racist. Maybe they targeted Corey because of the color of his skin. And it's not a far-fetched thing to think either. In fact, Ludwig, when he interviewed Susan, and Ludwig also made a mogul mail talking about this exact video I'm talking about and brought up some great points, the strongest one being is there are human beings on that policy team, and there are sometimes biases with members of those teams. You know, they're human beings, and some of them are going to have biases. And there is the potential that someone there is sexist or racist. And Ludwig brings up good points about that. For example, his girlfriend's podcast gets demonetized way more than his does. And so he brings that up. Susan, the CEO, denies that it's a possibility, but it is a real possibility. And Corey is absolutely right in thinking that it could be a real possibility that someone on that policy team that has the decision-making power might be racist. Why was Corey the only one getting age restricted? And Corey also brings up another great point, which is every time Corey comes back, Corey takes hiatuses in between his content creation. Sometimes he'll be gone for like 4 or 5 months. And he'll come back and explode. He'll get #1 trending like every single day for 3 weeks straight. And then every time, like clockwork, he's hit with some kind of YouTube controversy. Last time it was getting a strike due to something from like a 4-year-old video, a 3-year-old video or something like that out of nowhere. And it's only when Corey comes back and starts getting popular again do they do something like this with age restriction or a strike or something like that. But in the breaks he takes, like the 5 months, the 9 months that he's not on YouTube, he never has problems. They don't strike anything. They don't, age restrict anything. It's only when he's back being popular that this kind of issue arises. And it's always over nothing. Like I said, Corey is probably one of the most advertiser brand-friendly content creators there is in the gaming space. He doesn't say bad words or anything bad. He even censors that kind of shit in the content of his video, like from the games he plays. So he goes the extra mile to be as brand-friendly and advertiser-friendly and family-friendly as you can be. So it can't be an issue of him just being, too hardcore for YouTube to support. That's just not the case. It has to be something else. Something maybe going wrong with the algorithm or potentially actual racism at the YouTube policy team. It's not impossible. Of course, there's no concrete evidence that there's any racists on the policy team, but since YouTube can't communicate these decisions, all you can do is guess as to the reason why things happen. Why was Corey the only one getting age restricted? We don't know. His YouTube representative doesn't fully know. The only ones that do are the policy team, and they don't communicate. So all you can do is take your best guess. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this situation, and that's about it. So yeah. What an interesting week for YouTube. A couple days ago, they did something I don't think anyone ever expected. They fought a giant company on behalf of a YouTuber. Something they've never done before. A world first here. Maybe you want to pat him on the ass and tell him good game. A great, great move from YouTube, finally. And then the next day, they made an absolutely horrible decision that made me want to cry, come, and puke. It is baffling how they could go from something that everyone loves to something that everyone hates in the matter of 24 hours. It's crazy. It's a real Jekyll and Hyde situation at YouTube. There's a team that makes some good decisions, some good shit that people like to see, and then there's a team that's more active than that team, the fucking boogeyman unit, that makes the worst possible decisions imaginable for the platform. So let's go over both. I want to start with the positive side first to cushion the yuckiness of the negative side. So this is actually a situation we followed since December with a YouTuber named Totally Not Mark. Mark is an anime and manga YouTuber who set a world record for fastest dead channel thanks to 150 videos being taken down in a single day by Toei Animations. They Thanos snapped the majority of his content away because they claimed his content infringed on their copyright and fair use. They don't believe in it. It's like Santa Claus to Toei. So he lost all 150 videos. That was a big part of his channel. I think at the time he was only left with like 60 or 70 videos on his channel after that, so it was a massive blow to him. And it's obviously extremely hard for an individual to fight against a company of Toei's size with as much money as they have. They can just toss their legal meat around as much as they want and not feel it. It's not the same for someone like Mark. So they were using their big fucking nuts and their big wallet to bully Mark and keep the videos down, so he had a very difficult time until 2 days ago we got an update to the situation where Mark basically won for the most part against Toei because YouTube stood up for him and fought for him against Toei. And it actually revealed how petty Toei was. I'll give you like a brief overview of the situation, but I highly encourage you to check out Mark's video on it because he obviously goes into more detail. But he revealed that Toei actually violated YouTube's policy because initially Toei wanted to strike Mark's channel 150 times for each instance they believed that he infringed on their copyright. Now, for those that don't know, a strike is the worst thing that can happen to you on YouTube. It's like getting hit over the head with a sledgehammer. It's 3 strikes and your channel gets deleted. 150 strikes is what Toei wanted thrown against Mark. That wouldn't have only deleted his channel, that would have sent Mark straight to prison, banished him straight to the fucking Shadow Realm, sent him to hell. That is an absurd amount of strikes that they tried to throw at Mark all at once. They loaded up the cannon and fucking tried to blast him. But YouTube didn't let it happen. They said, no, we're not going to do that because we believe his content is most likely fair use. Like an argument could be made for it, so they initially didn't let Toei do that. So what Toei did is they went behind YouTube's back and used a different set of tools to manually go through and take down 150 videos, copyright blocked them. So he didn't get strikes, but Toei still got the videos taken down. And this was a complete violation of the YouTube policy. So when Mark finally did get a team at YouTube that wanted to help him and assembled the Avengers at the YouTube HQ, they noticed what Toei did and realized this is not okay, this is a violation. So then YouTube just wiped their ass with Toei's face. Like they full-blown just put their ass in Toei's asshole. They washed the blocks and came to the compromise where YouTube was going to block those 150 videos in Japan only, which, because Toei was arguing that it's not fair use by Japan law, YouTube said, okay, bet. Blocked in Japan. They're fine everywhere else. So now for the most part, Mark has all those videos back online everywhere except Japan, which he's not super upset about. And that concludes the Totally Not Mark vs. Toei anime arc. Now I think it is worth mentioning that Toei can still fight this, and I think there's a great chance they probably will considering how petty and out of touch they are. They could try and make a legal argument that the 150 videos are a complete violation of copyright law and they are not fair use, but they would have to argue that outside of Japanese law. They would have to prove that on like a global scale that Mark is some kind of evil super villain mastermind pirate sailing the 7 seas. He's crossed the Grand Line and is delivering illegal anime review and manga analysis. They could still try, I think they might, but for now it's overall a victory for Mark, and I was happy to see this and really happy to see YouTube for the first time actually standing up for a creator in the face of a massive corporation putting pressure on them. So, now that I've fed you the good shit, let me go ahead and give you your vegetables now. I'm going to give you a little coffee enema here, some gross shit. YouTube recently hinted that NFTs are coming to the platform. We don't know in what capacity, but it seems like YouTube really wants NFTs to be an integral part of the YouTube ecosystem. This came right after Twitter introduced the profile pic NFT system they have, where you can turn your fucking goofy profile pic into an NFT, and it's just like this hexagon. The NFT craze, it is an endless drain of misery. So yeah, YouTube is looking to bring NFTs to the platform and ignoring all problems. Like, instead of fixing things on YouTube, they're just introducing more fucking problems and things that people don't want. People still want dislikes back. No one's given up on that crusade. Everyone still wants dislikes back, and the only thing YouTube's done on it is double down saying they made the right call. And then after doubling down on the removal of dislikes, they then announced NFTs. Luckily, these two things are going to coincide greatly, because when they do bring the NFTs to the platform, it's going to have nothing but likes on it. You know, you won't be able to see if anyone disliked it. It's going to be 100% approval rate, baby, because dislikes are fucking gone. I still can't get over that, and after reading the article, it made me even more upset just how out of touch they are. And I don't think it's I don't think they're genuinely out of touch. I think they know exactly what they're doing. By hiding dislikes, it only helps corporations, and they know that. They keep bringing up this dog shit argument of the reason they removed it was because of targeted harassment campaigns where people mass disliked videos, which hurt creators' feelings. But that's such a small, awful example to use, and their solution doesn't even work because the creator still sees when videos are mass disliked. They still see the dislikes. So who does it help? It doesn't do anything. The creator is still seeing that, hey, these people fucking hate me. But no one else can see that. So it's still just hurting the creator's feelings. Like, it doesn't do anything to solve the problem that they keep saying it was aiming to solve. All it does is help it look better. Help YouTube look better to advertisers and corporations. It's fucking gross, it's fucking silly, it's stupid, and it is still the worst change YouTube has probably ever made. It just blows my mind how they can have one team that does something super great like what they did with the Totally Not Mark situation, and then a team like this that removes dislikes and introduces NFTs. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if YouTube in the next 5 or 6 years removes the ability to even upload videos yourself. You'd have to mint them as NFTs on the blockchain or something. Like, YouTube just becomes an NFT video sharing platform, and that's it. Like, imagine nothing but Bored Apes, but animated, and that's YouTube. Just sad, silly, stupid, upsetting shit. No one wants non-fungible tokens on YouTube. They can go funge themselves. No one is asking for this, and yet YouTube's bringing it anyway. Because right now NFT is that fat hotness. Everyone wants to get in on NFTs. Jimmy Fallon's popping off on Bored Apes. Gwyneth Paltrow's even got her own Goop line of Bored Apes. You know, everyone in the corporate space loves it, and so YouTube is following suit. So yeah, just wanted to talk about these two things here because it's been a pretty wild week for YouTube. That's about it. So yeah, I hope you've got some Pepto-Bismol nearby because I'm about to blow your ass out with wackiness. Good golly, do I have something goofy for you today. This is like a full circle season finale of controversy, and I can't even believe what I'm about to talk about. It all goes back 2 years ago when I made this video called I'm Mad. This video was the patient zero to an epidemic that led to multiple channels getting strikes for a very innocent video. That video was SpongeBob and Mickey Mouse mascots having a road rage incident. It was an old fake stunt that went viral a long time ago, so a ton of YouTubers had made videos joking about it and laughing at it, and all of those channels, including my own, ended up getting a strike in one giant sweeping plague. This was a couple years ago, and we all thought it was resolved, but today, it reared its ugly head yet again, with YouTube issuing yet another strike for the exact same video to another massive YouTube channel named Night Docs. Before I get into like the current situation, I'm just going to give the full lore breakdown surrounding this video because it may very well be one of the most forbidden videos on the platform at this point. The amount of people that have received a strike for this is outrageous. And just so we're all on the same page, a strike is a very big deal. A strike on YouTube is a huge issue. So this is the biggest punishment YouTube can issue a creator. All over a fake road rage involving SpongeBob and Mickey Mouse. So yeah, I made a video on that road rage incident, just making jokes about it. It was 4 dudes in mascot costumes, one being SpongeBob, one being Mickey Mouse. Those were the real protagonists, and they were throwing hands with a guy on the street and beating him up just on the road while 2 guys were filming and laughing about it. And I was just making jokes about it, nothing crazy. There's nothing scary or terrifying or shocking happening. It's pretty clearly not real, I would think, but regardless, I received a full strike for it. And I was very upset. I was livid. And you could see it in the video. You could really feel the rage oozing out of every pore in my body. I was like Kratos. So I stomped my feet and I threw my temper tantrum with tears in my eyes and warm milk in my hands, and I made a big stink because there was nothing wrong with that video. It was taken down for being like disturbing content, but there's no violence in there, not real violence. There's no blood, there's no bruising because it's all fake. It's a silly, stupid stunt. You had SpongeBob and Mickey Mouse and the Dirty Boys in their mascot costume pretending to beat up a man on the street. It was just a goofy thing, not real. And it got taken down for being too disturbing to even be left up on YouTube. It was too graphic to even get an age restriction. It went so far above an age restriction that they not only took it down, they gave me a full strike because of how traumatizing it must have been for the manual reviewer to have been subjected to such horror. And I was understandably outraged, but not nearly as outraged as I'm going to be if I find out that you play Rocket League without wearing the Moist Esports Rocket League skins that are now in the shop. This isn't even like a hashtag ad like an official one, it's just we finally have our Moist Esports items in the shop, and I just wanted to at least shout it out here. They look fucking great. Here's a little quick clip of them in game. So they're in the Rocket League shop, so if you're a Rocket League player, make sure to check those out to support the squad. But anyway, I got a little carried away just immediately. So back to what we're here for. So then I started a hashtag on Twitter called AnswerUsYouTube, and through this, I ended up accidentally throwing Markiplier under the bus because he had also reacted to that same video that I was covering. And in response to me bringing that to light, Markiplier played hardball saying, "Fair's fair, where's my strike, YouTube?" And YouTube hit him with a fat strike. A very disrespectful, very petty strike for Markiplier, the first in his entire channel's history. All because of a fake road rage incident involving SpongeBob and Mickey Mouse. So Markiplier made a video talking about it as well, and then shortly thereafter, YouTube folded, and I framed their response. We have this timeless classic saying, "We're not going to die on this hill. You were right. After even further review, your video and others are back up and these strikes have been removed. This was an over-enforcement of our policies, especially with the added context commentaries you originally pointed out." Now what they're referring to in the first part of the tweet with not dying on that hill and the even further review, it's in reference to a point I made where when you appeal something, it instantly gets rejected. Like they'll reject something within minutes, even though your video's like 30 minutes, they'll reject it in 3. So somehow they're working on demon time and able to watch the entire 30-minute video and deduce that they're right, even with no possible way of finishing it in that time. And that's what happened with my video. It was instantly rejected and then said, you know what, we've reviewed it and we're standing by our decision. So I said, why are they dying on this hill? It's not even a real video. This makes no sense. So that's what they're talking about in the tweet. So basically, Markiplier went up to bat for me and saved the fucking day. That man has been my savior for that action there. So why am I talking about this? Well, it's because that chapter isn't closed. I believe that book was kaput, you know, like the dinosaurs that had gone extinct. YouTube was never going to make a big issue out of that video in particular again, the SpongeBob and Mickey Mouse road rage incident. Well, it turns out I was wrong, because today another YouTuber named NightDocs, who I'm sure many of you have watched content from before, got a strike on his channel for the exact same fucking video, which they had already deemed is fine. They agreed that it was an over-enforcement of their policy and they were in error. Yet today, they have come back and said, this is the violence and gore for NightDocs, and they struck him for it. The same fucking video. I wouldn't dare show a single frame from this video anymore. It's goddamn radioactive. I don't know what it is about it that YouTube truly hates, but every single time this comes up, it seems like they react with the most heavy hand imaginable and strike down the gavel of injustice and issue a strike just for even showing the video. I actually privated the original upload I made on this content because I was afraid something like this may happen again in the future. So I privated it just to be safe. And it turns out I was right because it looks like they're going through again and purging the platform of this SpongeBob Mickey Mouse road rage thing. It's so weird, and I feel so bad for NightDocs. Like, it's nothing wrong with the video. There's no violence and there's no gore. Like, I don't know what they're seeing in this video that no one else on the planet is, but my god, it is crazy. It is so peculiar. I can't really wrap my head around it. Why this video in particular is the one that keeps triggering the system to issue a strike, and then a manual reviewer come in to agree with the system that the strike is legitimate. Like, there's some kind of crazy delusion going on over there. It makes no sense to me at all. Let's keep in mind, on YouTube, there is actual violence and gore. You can search it up right now. A lot of it's age-restricted. In fact, most of it is, but there still is unrestricted violence and gore on the platform, too. So even in the most severe case, if they deemed it was, like, violent or gory, which it's not, why do they go to the strike instead of, like, an age restriction, which is a lot less severe? This isn't, like, gratuitous blood and guts flying all over the place with SpongeBob eating the intestines out of his victim on the streets or anything, with Mickey Mouse beating him with a sledgehammer. It is fake road rage with these mascots in costume. Like it is so weird. It is so silly. And YouTube is once again going down this warpath against this video in particular. I don't even know what the solution is, because we already solved the problem and they just reopened the wound and poured salt on it here, right in Night Doc's face. I don't even know what the proper protocol is. YouTube themselves agreed that they were wrong, and now they've come back and done the exact same thing again. Is it just like you need to remind them, like, hey, we've already been here, done that. We've done this whole song and dance. Like, is that what needs to happen? Like, YouTube needs the little refresher, like the little memory update to remind them that we've already done this? Or is this going to be a biannual thing where every couple of years YouTube's just going to do this shit again? Like a natural disaster. I don't know. I don't get it. I feel bad for Night Docs and anyone else that just got a strike again for this video. It's so nonsensical. I just wanted to talk about it because this blows my mind that it's flaring up again. It's so fucking wild. Anyway, that's really about it. See ya.